Right. How about if we tune in?
So everybody sit tall and just arrive here. Make sure you're on mute, please, but tune in with me. And just like create your meditative space already, just from the beginning. Deep breaths through the nose. Put your intention out there for being here. And inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudeva Namo Om Namo Gurudeva Namo Om Namo Gurudeva Namo Ad Gure Name, Jugad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Siddhi Guru Deve Name, Ad Gure Name, Jugad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Siddhi Guru Deve Name, Ad Gure Name, Jugad Gure Name, Sat Gure Name, Siddhi Guru Deve Name. Welcome all. Glad you're here, Satnam.
Thank you, Emily. Okay, so what we're going to cover today is just a little bit about the brain and why the brain needs to be recalibrated in the first place, and how Kundalini Yoga really creates from us who may have been a victim in our life into victors. And then, of course, we'll implement a practice, some kind of breath work and yoga and meditation. So, and then also future upcoming events that you have the opportunity to know about and perhaps participate in. So, recalibrating the brain, what does that mean? So, um, let us, let me see, hold on for a second with the, whoa, okay. So, okay, so recalibrating the brain with super health. This is as taught by the teachings of Yogi Bhajan. Kundalini Yoga is the core of the technology. We live in a time of great stress. What is going on? Um, my theory is that problems come from two primary things. One is stress and one is inflammation. Those two areas, whatever we're going through, whether it's depression or anxiety or fear or insecurity, all roads, if you track it all the way back to its origin, leads to some kind of stressful behavior, some kind of an experience with stress. We cannot surgically remove stress from our lives, but what we can do is make it manageable. And that's what we're offering. So it's not realistic to think, well, I want a stress-free environment. Um, we have the ability to look at our stress and to reduce it as intelligent people, but it's probably not going to surgically remove it, but how we deal with it and how that, if not properly addressed, can lead to a lot of inflammation, a system that's on fire. The system will talk to us, and a system on fire is going to attract diseases and disorders and make us vulnerable to any kind of physical problem, mental stress, spiritually bankrupt, however it manifests. So, what is this doing? It's kind of funny. We laugh at it, but it's real. We're also wired. How is his brain being wired? Right? So that's where things are going. Mantra, sound. It's about the rhythm. It's about sat nam, sat nam, sat nam, the rhythm, the projection. You know, look what I think we all are aware what a hypochondriac has the ability to do. Through the power of his projection, he could actually manifest a physical ailment, right? We all know that. Everyone knows what a hypochondriac is. It's the power of their projection. But if we believe that you could actually physically manifest an ailment, can we not believe that the opposite is true too? That we could help so much of our healing through the power of that positive projection, our attitude, how we think, how we project. So it's the exact opposite, but equal and opposite. That's what we're going for, is keeping that positive projective affirmation. And of course, the pronunciation. It's not words that are just, you know, put together lazily. Satnam, 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 Satnam. Look at the difference. Satnam. Allowing the tip of the tongue to touch in back of the palate, right by the teeth. That's exact. So it's not lazy, it's not haphazard. It's not just a bunch of sounds. It's specific. And that specific practice gives us the experience, that exaltation of consciousness. So this is a science. Whether you understand any of this or not, it's in doing it, you'll have that experience. You don't have to necessarily understand all this, but just do it. It'll work. Mantra. It's like, think of it as like a straight, direct line to God. All right. It's nod is a universal code, the sound behind language and communication. You could reprogram what we call this motherboard, or a whole way we are wired. So if there's something, a default that you don't like in the way you keep thinking of things, maybe in your mind you always go negative and you're tired of that, you could reprogram that. That's the beauty of what we're doing here, is we have the ability to change. We have the ability to recalibrate this motherboard, how we are wired, how we think, what we believe, so it could better serve us. So here is the mouth. You have 84 meridians. 64 are right in back of the teeth line. So with your tongue now, just place it right in back of the teeth, and you'll have a certain sensation. As the tip of the tongue and the top of the palate have a very unique relationship. It's called the divine intercourse. So as the tongue touches right in back of those teeth, this has a specific effect on the brain activity, the chemistry of the brain. This affects their hypothalamus. It affects your frontal lobe. This is your whole brain. This affects your personality, your automatic habits, so that we don't just go into survival mode, that we have the ability to weigh the pros and the cons in any given situation and make a good, neutral, conscious decision. All that is the way the activation of our brain, the frontal lobe, the hypothalamus, and different areas of the brain. Now with your tongue, place it all the way in back on the hard palate. That has a different sensation. Try that. So all this, the different positions of even the tongue as we utter, hud, 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 hud. That is like boing, 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 boing. That affects this, which gives us that, ah, I get it. I understand that awakening. As we practice, one day through God's grace, we don't know, there's no guarantee when and if and how and why. We just keep the practice going. And through God's grace, one day we have, I get it. I understand. Now I get it. Right? So this is a very, very specific practice to help us expedite that awakening, that spiritual consciousness. The benefits, so we have the tongue movement, we have the sound. That's going to affect your glands and brain chemistry. Let's try. Hud, hud, tip of the tongue, right in back of the teeth. Hud, 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 hud. It's a rhythm. It's an exact movement of where the tongue is placed, and that's going to affect the brain. Okay, so this, like I said, affects your glands. The sound impulses, think of it as like a spiritual DNA. It's like today we're going to hand out all new computers, and you could input what is going to serve you into that computer chip of your brain as you so wish. Some things, the way your outlook is, may be very healthy. Maybe you have a very positive projection about something very strong. You want to keep that. But anything that you think, oh, it's time to let that go. I don't know. I always go into negative, or I always do this or that. You assess for yourself and what things you want to recalibrate. That we have the ability to do. So much of it is in the mind, how we think. That could either conquer depression, but it also has the ability to enhance intuition, awaken that uh, intuitive sensitivity where you just know. Psychological clearance of the subconscious mind. All right, so let's say, for instance, we have fear about something, right? We're all, we have a fear about it. So in pretty much in our environment, it's like you have the ability to confront that fear. But if you choose not to and you just kind of hide it and stuff it away and don't really deal with it and try to counter it with a lot of happy thoughts, happy thoughts, happy thoughts, that's fine. But you never really addressed that fear. So what happens is it gets sent into your subconscious. And then there it begins to build up and build up and build up, and you're sending all these fears and insecurities and all things that happen in life that you don't want to deal with into the subconscious, and that gets overloaded. And when that happens, that's when you get into haunting thoughts, memories, nightmares, fear of the psyche, all this kind of stuff. So what we have the ability to do is fine, let's unload it. The ability to unload that and to create that release in the subconscious where it's not ruling. All these fears do not rule. but you allow them just to be released and to deal with it in healthy ways, to confront it. So here's our brain. There are those two areas. In our yogic teachings, it is said that two areas of the brain must be developed. The frontal lobe, which is affecting your personality. And how this basically translates is that um, your frontal lobe takes about 21 or 22 years to fully develop. The frontal lobe is how you make decisions, your executive mind. You weigh the pros and cons. This is especially critical, especially for young people that start using these really heavy-duty drugs and alcohol and just street stuff, and they don't even know what they're using. 12 years old, 13, 14, 15. This is before the frontal lobe has fully gotten developed. And so what happens is it interferes with that, and it stunts their growth. Basically, how it translates is as they grow older, they may get into some kind of difficulty or trouble. You may ask them, why did you do it? Their response will be something like, well, I just felt like it. You felt like it. Wow. Do you do everything you feel like doing? That could be quite dangerous. But that's basically how it translates. It brings them into just a mere existence, survival mode, rather than weighing the pros and cons and sitting quietly and letting the neutral mind dictate to you what you should do, your plan of action. They don't have that capability. They're stunted that full development. The other area is your hypothalamus. So when the tip of the tongue goes on the top palate, hud, 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 that's going to affect your hypothalamus. This is how your automatic habits get set. So these two areas are critically important to develop. When you do that, through the practice, through chanting, through sound, through mantra, through nod, that enables us to have, again, you're setting the stage for that exalted consciousness. The neuron patterning of the brain must be affected in order to affect addictive behavior. This is all about the neurons in the brain, even how we sit. When we ask sometimes sit straight with your spine straight, pull a firm neck lock where your neck is back and slightly down. This affects the whole area of the brainstem right in back of the neck. This affects this. This is how we are wired. So everything is related. It's not haphazard. It's not lackadaisical. It's very specific how we are wired. And we can change that wiring if there's an area in our life, in our thinking, that we want to change, to take a look at. The mind is so active, you have the ability to think of 1,000 thoughts every blink of the eye. So we're sharing these practices with you to live happy, to be in peace. Everyone has that right. This is our prayer. So it's not so much that we have these problems and issues. Who doesn't? We're human. We do. It's human. That's not the issue. The issue is, let us now feel blessed to have the opportunity to do something about it. Even a simple practice, like even 3 minutes a day, to make that kind of commitment and to practice and to do it. The rest is in the hands of God. God so wishes us to have an experience, we will. An understanding, we will. An insight, we will. But we have to do our part and show up for our mat. Show up. Okay, a lot of words. Before we begin to actually do a practice, does anyone have any questions? I know we said a lot. Anything? Any questions? Any points? Any any issue? Anything that somebody has experienced? Okay, so it's very, very specific. Again, if one thing I could impress upon you, it's not just thrown together. It's not just a bunch of sounds that, you know, oh yeah, I like this sound, this. It's very specific. And everything is wired in a way that's going to affect your consciousness. And the beauty is within your own assessment of yourself and where you're at today. There is no good, there is no bad, there is no right, there is no wrong. It's your own personal assessment of yourself. And if there is any area that you want to develop or change, or even just think about checking out, you can. And that's where the practice comes in. Okay? So I'm going to turn this over now to Emily, and we're actually going to do some fun things. So enjoy, and we will meet you at the end of our yoga practice. Satnam.
Thank you, Satnam. So we're going to do about half an hour of Kundalini yoga and meditation. So if you have a yoga space you want to get ready, let's get ready. Everybody came ready? Okay, great. So we're going to start with the meditation. So your hands are in Gyan Mudra at your knees, your arms are straight. The mantra is Wahe Guru. As you turn your head to the left, you say Wahe, and then as your head turns to the right, you say Guru. This is out loud. Wahe Guru. Wahe Guru. Wahe Guru. Wahe is to the left, Guru to the right. And we'll do that for a couple minutes. Wahe Guru. 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 And last round, bring your head back to center. Close the eyes, meditate at the third eye. And deep breathing. And opening the eyes. So that'll give you a real quick reset. Did everybody feel that? Yeah. So let's come standing up. We're going to start out in Kundalini chair pose. There's many options for this. Um, the full pose is you're squatting, you're between this, and your hands are on top of your feet like that, and your torso is parallel to the floor. If you want other options, you could do a forward fold like this. You could do it like this, or you could do a little squat and just like keep your back straight. And it's going to be the same thing. Wahe guru, wahe guru, left wahe, right guru, wahe guru, wahe guru from that Kundalini chair pose. Wahe guru, 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 wahe guru. And soon it just becomes a continuous sound current. Wahe guru, wahe guru, wahe guru, wahe guru, wahe guru. And your head back to center. Hold the pose for one more moment. Inhale. Pull the root lock. And exhale. Come all the way up to standing. You're going to put your hands on your low back like this. And we're going to take a slight lean back. It's not a big back bend. It's just like this. And if it's a good thing for you, you can drop your head back. But if that's not a good idea for your neck, then just keep your head upright or do the amount that works for you. And again, it's wahe to the left, guru to the right. Wahe, guru, 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 wahe, guru. Nice, everybody. Slowly, slowly pull yourself back up to standing, just tall. Inhale, holding, pulling the root lock. And exhale. So next one is a slight bend. It's like this, and the hands on the knees. It's a slight bend. It's not all the way like that. It's just a slight bend where your hands are on your knees. And I bet you can guess what's coming next. It's wahe gudu, 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 wahe gudu. Looking good out there. Staying in the bend, your head back to center. Inhale. Hold, pull the root lock. And exhale. The next one's fun. If you're gonna stand all the way up and flat feet is wahe, and then as you um and as you stand on your tiptoes, it's gudu. Wahe gudu. Wahe gudu. Wahe gudu. Wahe on the floor and gudu as you get to the tiptoes. Wahe gudu. 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 And keep going. Very nice. Doing great. And now pause, stand on your tiptoes, inhale, pull the root lock here. Just stand tall, 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 straight and stretch. And reach up. And exhale. I love seeing you all do this. So now we're coming to the floor for a Sphinx pose. It's a Kundalini Sphinx pose. Sitting on the heels. If sitting on the heels like rock pose doesn't work for you, you can always go to easy pose. And you can also, you can spread your knees any amount here. That works for you. So hands on the floor in front. Spine and arms are straight, looking like a sphinx. Here, when you're up, chant wahe, and then when your forehead touches the floor, gudu. And you could put a pillow, you could put something here if your forehead doesn't already touch the floor, something so your forehead can touch. Wahe, gudu. 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 Wahe Guru. The ones I can see are doing great, looking great. Slowly, slowly come all the way up. Inhale, push the energy up. Stretch yourself as tall as you can, your forehead to the ceiling. I mean, the top of your head to the ceiling. And exhale. We're going to come into easy pose. And we're going to do whisper chanting. The mantra is sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Whispering. Sa. Meditative pose and just whispering satanama. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 And chanting out loud, loudly. The instruction is loudly. Sa ta na ma. Sa ta na ma. Sa ta na ma. Sa ta na ma. Out loud, please. Sa ta na ma. Sa ta na ma. Sa ta na ma. Sa ta na ma. Satanama, 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 Satanama. Please continue. and release the chanting. And we're going to come into rock pose again. And again, if rock pose isn't for you, then just go to easy pose. It's going to be a spinal flex with mantra chanting. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. And continue. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Sa, ta, na, ma. Chanting out loud. Sa, ta, na, ma. 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 Continue chanting out loud. Coming back to rock pose or easy pose, sit up straight, inhale. Holding the breath, pushing the energy up, pulling the root lock. And exhale. And now come to easy pose and just meditate. Silent seated meditation. And sleep, slow, deep breathing. Opening the eyes. Just do a quick scan through your whole system and let's see how we're feeling emotionally now. Let's check on how we're feeling mentally right now. Let's check on the physical body right now, what we're feeling. And let's try to sense our stress level right now. I'm, I'm pretty sure it's vastly improved since we started. So That was the end of the Kriya. If anybody wants to come in and give anything you experienced, anything you're feeling right now, I'd love to hear it. Yeah, just come on in. Okay, thank you all so much for doing that with me. The joy of my life, Satnam.
Thank you, Emily. That was great. One thing I wanted to note is that it takes so much for the stress to build up and build up and build up, but so little just to help unwind that it's manageable and to just deal with it. So it just takes a few moments of practice to just kind of release it and balance things out. So,
It really does. These are fast track technologies.
yeah. Abstract technology, great. Okay, does anyone have any questions or any anything at all they want to share? Okay, so we wanted to let you know about a couple of new events that we have coming up. One is next week, the rebirthing. Um, when Yogi Bhajan was alive in Los Angeles, every weekend there was a certain period of time in the late 1980s where he was really working very, very diligently and seriously on helping people quickly unload. We talked about the load of the fear into the subconscious and all this stuff. The word is load. We get loaded with all these things. And it was a quick way to go through this process to just release it and release it so that we could really be the best version of ourselves that we could possibly be. The times demand it. The times demand for you and I to be the best version of ourselves that we could be. This is, I think, the fourth session that we have been doing. He taught a total of 31, and they're amazing. They're just so deep, and um, we will guide you through each of the different postures that he works us through, specifically as he has taught it. And it's 3 hour, each class is a 3 hour session, not only talking about the particular issue, like I mentioned, one was fear and how we tend to just not really deal with it. And it just kind of gets put into our subconscious where it just gets overloaded. We try to compensate by being happy, happy, happy and not relate to the fear, but that doesn't work either. So he goes into it very specifically, and it's brilliant. It's just amazing. We invite you to come to that next week. Anybody is welcome. There's no prerequisite or anything like that, but be prepared to get another level of your commitment to yourself. It will definitely give you an experience of your own greatness. That's all I can say about it. So that's next I think Sunday morning,
Yep.
3 hours, right?
Yep. And this one is really fun because you get to bring up, it's called Clearing Our Subconscious Stories. You get to bring up all the stories you've ever told yourself about who you are or why things happen to you, your beliefs that, they might not even be real things. Like, oh, I'm like this because of this. Like this, my life is like this because of this. And you get to bring all those out. You don't have to be love and light. You get all that out, and then it's gone in an hour or less.
Yeah. And also in this particular series that we're doing on Sunday is going to be, get angry at God. So he gives us permission, anything that we're upset about or didn't work out or it just, you know, angry. and we
Mhm.
have permission to get angry and really to work us through every single tiny thing you can think of. He said, this is the moment to get angry at God. You could mentally say anything you want out loud, whatever, and work it through. So, and your beauty is you're with the company of other people like this, just like-minded people, people who understand, people who are going through the exact same things. So that part is really nice. People have the same mind and the same priorities in their life too. So that's quite comforting. Another brand new course that we are introducing is a spiritual coaching. And we talk a lot about coaching, but this is for your spirituality, for who you are in spirit, interconnectedness, your body, your mind, and your spirit, path to happiness, prosperity, and fulfillment. And to work with somebody, figure in tandem, in partnership with somebody who's step by step working with you with what your issues are, with what your capability is, with what your discipline level is, and designing a program specifically to accommodate your needs, to keep you moving forward. Think of it as having a gentle placement of somebody's hand on your back to keep you moving, but at your pace that's doable for you. Um, there will be certain sessions that will also be in a group. So again, we'll be together as a support system, but then also individual counseling, individual yoga practice specific to your needs. It's um, an amazing process to have somebody uniquely meeting with you for your personal, to bring about your personal gifts, your personal attributes, your talents, and how to best use them in this lifetime. So that is starting in the new year in January 2025. There'll be 6 sessions throughout the first quarter of 2025.
And we have all those links are in the chat.
So there's a lot more information on the website that you could read, but we're very, very excited. The thing is, we've been dealing with treatment of drug addiction and alcohol and addictive behaviors. We're always going to be dealing with that. Unfortunately, that's not going away anytime soon. Um, but then we were thinking, what else can we give people? People just like you, people just like me, people like us. What else can we give them like a fast track to just get just through your stuff and to teach new people, even new parenting, to not keep recreating the problem. But what would it be like if you cut to the chase? What would it be like if you could affect the consciousness of new parenting before they even start to prevent some of these issues, to prevent some of these problems, so that we don't have to recalibrate the brain, that it's just calibrated exactly supportive and the way we need it to be? What would that be like? That's the Aquarian age. And that's what we're here to set the pace for. So that's really the impetus of where a lot of this is coming. What else can we give you and me and us to fast track it, to help us get through this stuff so that we could be lighter, we could be brighter, we could be more effective, we could help more people as well as ourselves.
Yeah,
So that was really the motivation to a lot of this.
and we're the ones who are here in this shift between the Piscean age and the Aquarian age. Like we're still in that the in between zone. And
Cut.
the
Yeah.
Aquarian age is only going to come through us. Like nobody else is going to do it. Like it literally has to come through us. And programs like this are how to do that. How to heal your stuff so you can, like Mukta said, be lighter and be of service.
Yeah, it's true. Nobody else is, if we're showing up, it is us. There's nobody, this is it. A few precious souls come forward and decide to show up. whether we understand it or not, whether we like it or not, here we are. And this is our destiny. So we have a chance. We have a chance for ourselves. We have a chance to really help others in an unbelievable way. And it's with these teachings. That's the greatest thing that we have. Otherwise, yeah, we're nice people. We talk, we have friends, you know, but it's about meeting our destiny. And I could think of no better people to be with this morning than you. And I say that very honestly. Okay, so the links were in the chat. If you have any further questions that come up, my personal email, you could always reach me personally, superhealth12@gmail.com. So don't hesitate. If you have any afterthoughts or questions or needs, just contact us. Contact me directly. Don't be shy about it. I welcome it.
Go ahead, Yolanda. Oh, bye. Okay, so no.
Will you be sending out the recording?
Of this? Of this workshop or of the spiritual coaching? I can't hear you.
The workshop today?
Yep, we will. Everybody who signed up, you'll get the replay.
And then can we just do the long time sunshine, please? Okay, thank you for coming today. You know how I feel about you.
May the long time sun shine upon you. Oh, love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. Oh, love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. May the long time sun.
Inhale deeply. Exhale. And thank you for coming today and having the opportunity to be together as a family. May we ever live in peace and truth and always be healthy, happy, and holy. Have a very beautiful day. Sat Nam.